What I can say is that, because I've asked the question as well, more recently than that, with respect to who the company pays legal fees, what contributions to legal fees do we make, does the company make, and so on and so forth. And I think I can tell you that, in asking the question, I have been surprised to learn that, and this is legal counsel telling me this, that it is customary in here to sometimes make contributions to the legal costs of either co-defendants or defendants in related matters, and so on and so forth. I have no direct knowledge of that particular instance that you mentioned, and if you have any additional specific questions about that, perhaps, Mr. Chairman, we can follow up with you on that, and I'm happy to do that.
Well, it's all very well, but I mean, these are issues that go back some time. I'm surprised you haven't followed up on them already. Were any payments made subsequently to Clive Goodman and Glenn Mulcair after their conviction? Did News International make any payments at all to those two people following their convictions?
Good. I'd like to answer that question. I think it's a good question, and it's a specific question. To my knowledge, upon asking, because there were allegations made that legal fees had been paid after that time in 2007 to those, I asked the question myself, and I was very surprised to find that the company had made certain contributions to legal settlements. I don't have all of the details around each of those, not legal settlements, sorry, legal fees around there, and I just, and I was surprised. I was very surprised to find out
authorised them?
that had occurred.
Who authorised?
They were done, as I understand it, in accordance with legal counsel, and the strong advice to.
No, I didn't say who advised it. Who signed it off? Who at News International agreed to make those? Who signed the checks? Who agreed to make those payments?
I do not know who signed off those.
I mean, we were talking about corporate governance earlier. I mean, you talked about the managing editor. Would you expect? Would the managing editor have made that decision?
It would have been the management. It would have been the management of the legal cases, I would think. But I think we have to. I'm happy to go back and look at that. But it was not something that came to my attention for approval.
But who would make that decision?
I'd like to say, things of that amount would certainly not come before or having to do with the managing editors.
It wouldn't. Would it have been above the managing editor or below the managing editor?
It'd be above.
Well, above.
This would have been this would have been on legal advice, payments made around how to handle litigations. And again, I don't have direct knowledge or details around the current status of those, but I can tell you I was as surprised as you are to find that some of those arrangements had been made.
Mr. Murdoch Senior, I seem to be getting further with you, for which I'm grateful. Would it have been Les Hinton? Would he have agreed? Would he have had to sign that off?
It could have been.
It could have been. Would have been or could have been?
Could have been.
Who else could it have been?
The chief legal officer.
Right. And but without any
reference... signing checks or approval?
Both.
Signing checks could be, assistant CFO or something, but it would be on the instructions of the chief legal officer.